coming off our play at Bowling Green, certainly disappointing that we didn't follow up our opening game in the manner we had anticipated. But we felt like after that first half we were on track, but certainly the second half and our ability to make plays down at the end and be able to put our kids in position to make plays, I think, was the result down as we finished up the end of the game. Any questions?
You weren't here previously, but how important is it just to get guys to believe that they're going to get stops when the chances are given to them?
Well, I think that's important. We talked about it as a staff yesterday. I think it's important for our guys we've been in situations like this. Coach Wilson talked about we've been in situations, tight games over the last 3 years, and we need to be able to close that out. And really felt like our defensive guys felt like we'd have an opportunity, and we certainly were given the opportunity at times. And I just think that this group needs to finish one of those games, and we haven't been able to close those tight games out. And I think last year there were a couple of important games where we lost by less than 7 points. So I think for us, as we showed our guys yesterday, we had the opportunities to be able to close it out, especially 4 or 5 third down opportunities late in that game that it would have been 4th and long. And they came up maybe 4th and short. And our inability to get off the field, in the end was led to the loss.
Is there anything you could do as a staff to build that belief, or is that it just has to come from?
Well, I think we talked to our kids a lot about it. We feel like we've made a lot of progress, and certainly the second half didn't show that. But I think our play in the first half, our play in the first game, and what we've done, in the preseason, we need to build on that. And so, we got a great challenge this week in Columbia against a very high-powered, explosive offense. So, it's an opportunity we got to look forward ahead and see how we can correct those situations. We'll do that. One of the things we've got to do is we've got to continue to build our open field tackling. I think that whether it was a function of the number of plays, fatigue, our technique, those things we have to work on. Tuesday will be a physical in working on those situations, putting our guys in those situations.
Do you see a guy emerging that could be a vocal leader that says, this isn't going to happen this year, this isn't going to happen today?
Well, I think we need to, and we're trying to cultivate that. I think we're challenging our seniors, and whether it's a David Cooper, we've got a good group of seniors, and we need them to step up and lead. I think a young man like Nick Mangieri made some plays. He's kind of developing into a leader out there. It's a little bit tougher for a guy. You want now he's a linebacker now, but a front guy. But David Cooper, some of our older guys are guys that need to. We're trying to put in positions to be leaders.
It seemed like a lot of the talk in preseason was about playing more aggressive on defense. Why wasn't it in the second game of the season
Well,
that you couldn't come out?
I think that the tempo, maybe our initial thoughts were, especially after the first half, was, there was such a screen game, and we anticipated not blitzing as much because the ball was coming out so quick. We ended up probably pressuring a dozen times in the second half. Some of those times we had opportunities to get the quarterback down and didn't get him down. The pressure. There's obviously times we probably could have sped the process up a little more, but when you're going empty and you're going 5 receivers, the ball's coming out pretty quick.
Brian, how hard is it to develop a pass rushing defensive line? I mean, do you have to recruit to that, or can you turn an ordinary lineman into somebody who's good at the number?
Well, I think guys like Nick Mangieri and Bobby Richardson are guys that have proven they're pretty good pass rushers, and Coach McDaniel and myself work a lot with those guys. Nick's in a good situation, and where he's a hybrid where he's in coverage some, he's pressuring some, and I think he showed that Saturday when getting a pick and a sack. Well, there are a lot of ways to be aggressive, whether it's our 4-man rush. We had particular packages where we, the responsibilities of our 3- and 4-man rush. They were free rush guys, be able to get up the field, be aggressive, and had guys being able to spy and give them an opportunity. So there's a lot of ways for us to be aggressive. It's not just bringing 5 or 6 defenders and playing man or zone blitz coverage. There's a lot of ways that we can have our guys be aggressive, and that's one of the areas we talked about our kids about, just being more aggressive out there, whether it's attacking the bubble screen, attacking blockers, being able to, we had situations to get guys in tackle for losses. I believe we only had maybe, I think it was 4 tackle for losses in the amount of plays we had, and there was a lot of those opportunities. So I think that's where we're challenging our guys to be aggressive, be aggressive finishing those plays.
Looking at it from a technique standpoint, you got experienced corners.
And that was an area we worked on. We need to continue to work on just the deep ball. Bowling Green was we knew they'd take shots, and we'll continue. Coach Shelby's doing working a lot with our corners, being able to work man press techniques, and just being able to help continue to defend deep balls. We do it. We rep that with our receivers quite a bit, and had done a really good job. It was disappointing that we let our technique slip a little bit in certain situations, especially down the stretch, whether it was a fatigue issue, being able to play so many plays and being able to continue. We've got some young corners that will continue to be able to spell. We played our corners a little more in nickel, so they played a lot of reps, and down the stretch, whether it was fatigue or just probably not the best technique that ended up being the result.
In terms of looking back to the ball, giving the ref less of a reason to throw the flag, that kind of thing, pretty basic stuff.
It was. I mean, it was situations where, those. I think it wasn't one particular corner. We had, I think we had like 3 different corners have pass interference penalties. So, I mean, that's something we've got to continue to work on.
How much of it is trust, too? For instance, Mullen getting called for the PI, grabbing a guy when he has Antonio Allen over the top to help him. How much of it is just trust in your team?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just trusting in the defense, trusting in the guy next to you. And we talk a lot about trust. In particular, a few of those we were in what we call closed middle man-free coverage, where they were throwing the ball right to the safety. And so we got to trust that safety is going to be there. And so, just continuing to educate our kids on where their help is, just being able to trust that the safety back there is going to be able to make them right. And I think that's the biggest thing we need to educate our guys on.
As far as just understanding how to make the play and when, it's like Bennett maybe should have taken a PI there at the end. I mean, he defended the play pretty well.
Yeah.
But you can't let him score a touchdown. I mean, so here's the other thing. I mean, they used their last time out when they're at your 44, roughly, right around there. So as the clock's winding down, they're out of timeouts. Even with the 2 PIs and they're getting closer, it's not that much time left. If you guys get a sack, you're going to win the game.
Sack or stop, it's over. Correct.
You're going to win the game. Is that kind of the leap your players need to make on the field? It's like, I can't let them score here, I got to take the PI, or I just got to get a sack here. It's on me, I have to go get a sack. That's the kind of thing that you got to get.
One thing we do probably more than any program I've ever been associated with is put our guys in situations. We try to put our guys in those situations. Coach Wilson, all throughout preseason practice, even during the week, we'll do last 30 seconds of the game. We'll put those guys in, and we just need to continue educating our guys. I think Tim maybe peaked in the backfield a little bit on that, and the pace of play maybe, but was in a good position, very good position to be able to make the play.
Did Bowling Green do anything different in the second half that it really didn't do in the first half? Because it made 27 first downs in one half. I've just never heard of that.
That is. We look at one of our benchmarks, one of our goals is to be great on third down. And we were over 60%. The problem was we didn't get them in third down enough. There was 90 plays of first or second down. And so what you see on the second half was we weren't very good on first and second down, being able to get Bowling Green in third down situations. And I think that, and then when they get, 5 wides empty, put it in a situation where they were able to be able to convert those short passing game.
We're not coaches, fans aren't coaches. The Indiana football fan base is pretty fragile. So if they see something that to them just looks like the same old defense, the same softness, same kind of supine position toward the end of the game, what would you tell them in terms of how this defense can be different than what they've seen?
Well, I think we need to look at the body of work. Obviously, it wasn't, the second half wasn't anything what we expected, or, we certainly aren't, we've addressed the second half yesterday in our defensive meeting. We watched the specific plays, and I think the biggest thing we need to do is when we get in those situations, be able to not only make those plays, but put our guys in better positions to make those plays. And that's as a staff, whether it's, Coach Wilson talked about being more aggressive, and that may not necessarily mean blitzing, but being more aggressive in our techniques as far as being able to down the ball. Our guys, like I said, there were some situations where if we're able, the kids are in good position, we just need to finish that play. And so what I'd say to the base is, let us continue building. Let us continue building, and I believe we have the players that can be a good defense, and I hope that one half a play isn't gonna make everybody judge this defense yet.
What are your first early impressions of Missouri and what they do?
Well, I think Matty Mock's a very talented quarterback. He's athletic, runs around, really they did lose some receivers last year, but you wouldn't be able to tell that from the talent they have on the field. They spread you out. They got a very, very athletic tight end, very much like a Tyler Eifert type tight end, guy that can stretch the field. So the 2 running backs that come back are as talented running backs as we'll probably see this year. A big physical running back, and also an athletic kick returner, Shane Webb type running back. So I think talent-wise, they return a very experienced group of offensive linemen, and so it'll be a great challenge for us. I think our kids are, they were in yesterday looking at Missouri tape, so we've got a good jump start on Missouri. We've looked at them in the off season, so we got a pretty good idea of what we can expect. But I think Mock's the guy that's going to be the big challenge. He's the guy that really makes their offense go.
Mock's the guy that's seen a lot of snaps. You faced a guy Saturday who was making the second career snap. Early on, it was a little shaky. You guys had a chance to make maybe 2 or 3 picks early. Did you think about coming after him real aggressively early, even though you were holding the field goals in the first half? Was part of the mindset going in, this kid's still pretty new. It turned out he got the ball out quickly and he was accurate. He played really well.
Yeah.
But did you guys have a mindset of going in, of trying to unsettle him or confuse him early?
I think there were certain situations, certain formations, personnel groups that we were going to attack him in, and they did a nice job of being able to put him in situations where he got the ball out quick. And we knew he was a talented throwing quarterback from his days in high school. So it was, we were well aware of him. We had a couple players of ours that played with him in high school. And so we knew he had a strong arm. He was able to deliver the ball quick. And we had opportunities where we had two takeaways, probably had our hands on at least a half a dozen other balls that we need to convert those. And where we didn't get any takeaways that first game, to be able to get 2, that's a challenge of ours to be able to continue to take that ball away. We got our hands on, I think, 5 balls up front were deflected. And so we made progress in those areas. We just need to capitalize. One more takeaway, one more stop in that game, certainly wouldn't have been the defensive performance we would have wanted, but the outcome could have been different.